Alright, well, welcome everyone to episode 2 of the Necropolis. Before we get into our game, we'll have a quick recap of what happened last session. Who wants to do the recap?
I can tell you what I remember.
That's basically the same thing.
That's right.
Okay. So, we were at an archaeological dig, all this and that. We were being interviewed by some reporter, and then we entered the tomb. And
Old mate did get smashed to death, don't forget that.
The journalist got smashed to death. And some stuff happened. We went into a cavern, and then we went to a hole into a cavern. And Stone possibly saw a mummy. And that's all I can remember. Remember, we're in the area. It's a great recap.
Petition for all this and that to be part of the recap from now on.
All this and that.
And then some stuff happened. Right, yes.
We found a hole. Some people were like very reluctant to go into a hole. Some people wanted to go into the hole. Usually how a hole works.
Oh.
I don't know.
Some people
Alright, would anyone else like to do the recap?
Was there something he left out?
Did he talk about finding the body at the end?
No. So, after old mate photographer is smashed to death and we're trapped inside the tomb, we're in the long hallway.
I said that.
Yeah, at the end of the hallway was the table with the golden chest on it, and one other thing, I don't remember what it was. Behind the table with the chest, actually it was the chest and the table. I keep forgetting the chest was not small. Behind the chest was a carved hole in the wall. First we open the chest. George says, "I'm gonna loot everything," and then tries to retcon it, but that's not how that works. You said you were gonna take it all. So George takes a bunch of the treasure out of the chest, including that idol thing.
I got the idol? Is that right?
Yeah, you.
Yes, that is right.
Hold on, I wrote down your name.
You
Don't remind
chosen
me.
death.
It's George.
No.
I've chosen to.
Britt picked it up to look at it, and
Oh.
then he put it back down, and you took it.
Oh. I have idol and treasure.
And then-
Because my character.
Everett and I move the chest. We go through the chisel hole. Well, Everett goes first with a candle and a gun.
Love that moment.
Into the large room, which turns out to be the treasure room, essentially, for the Pharaoh's Passage. And he looks around in this room. There's a ship in one corner. On the other side, there are statues of Sobek and of a jackal-headed guy, probably Anubis, who knows. But they're not actually statues, they're bodies with animal heads on them. And then I come in, start blabbing my mouth about the ship and the passage that the pharaohs make after they die. While that is happening, Luther writes down a whole bunch of the hieroglyphics in the hallway into his notebook. And then he examines a hole in the wall, which, to be clear, only Luther knows this. He saw something that might have been like movement behind there, like a mummy or something, but it wasn't clear. And then Luther and George finally come through after us. We really get a good look around in the treasure room. We see the spooky broken like door in the wall. And I'm like, well, let's go see what's up. And we walk through the little hallway into another room that looks like a ritual's going on, and there's a dead body on the floor.
The only thing I would like to add to the recap is the thematics of you find the dead body while you're ranting about the Egyptian passage into the afterlife.
Would you like us to open roll 20 or anything like that?
Avery.
Yeah, no, I thought about it. I really like the theater of the mind. I like people rolling physical dice. I think it's a very fun thing.
I am going to go grab my dice real quick.
Oh,
Doing the same thing, but they're right here.
I refuse.
I don't have physical dice, so I'm gonna hit the button.
I was gonna call
That
you
works.
a nerd, but that's actually the exact opposite.
yeah.
I
If for later sessions and campaigns, maybe we'll use a roll 20 if everybody gets tired of having to check numbers and do basic math. But for the time being, I think that this is sufficient.
I can't believe you would call out George like that.
Well, you know what
Also,
they say about assumptions?
character sheet check. Who has their character sheet actually in front of them?
I do.
I do.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and repost our current map so that everybody can see it.
No, I thought you
And
were
in
good
case you
Redditor.
need a visual, bang, baby.
Actually, Kyle,
Alright,
you are
so
the
it-
Redditor. You're reposting.
That's right. Alright, so it's been decided. Colin is the first to lose his character sheet because he's not here to defend himself.
That's what I'm talking about.
Who had money? Who had bet on Colin?
I did. I actually did.
All right, Stone wins the pot.
I love winning.
Stone
I
also loves pot.
could not remember which dice we were using. But then I remembered.
Colin, where's your character sheet?
So you grabbed all of them,
Jesus.
right?
Oh!
It's in the next room. I know it's with all my other game stuff. I just forgot that too.
Aha! That means he did forget it.
Not
I
technically.
fucking win.
Yeah,
No,
no,
no.
Stone wins. Stone wins.
What does he win?
A prize?
Satisfaction
Oh,
of
you're in
watching me
As
look.
soon as I'm back in town. I want my happy ending.
What if I didn't have it? What if I lost it?
Something tells me.
Be a real shame for you, innit?
Just don't ask to see it.
You good now, Colin? Okay.
George,
Yes.
you're just being kind of quiet. Make sure you're here. You got your character sheet. You got your dice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if everyone's here and everyone has tools with which to play the game, we will go ahead and begin. We have just entered this side antechamber, where just under the dim light of your candle, a clothed skeleton has come into view. If you could all please describe your characters, what they look like, their name, kind of what they're doing, and how they feel about the situation. We'll go ahead and begin with Wallace.
So, I am wearing an aviator's cap from the First World War, but without the goggles. Around my neck, I have a dainty little scarf. I'm also wearing a khaki-colored shirt and pants, so they would be trousers, and some desert boots. There are little splashes of red in my color, but nothing like too ostentatious. And I'm currently smoking a cigarette. Or I have one in my hand, anyway.
And how do you feel about the body that we've just begun to see?
I'm not sure that Wallace has ever seen a dead person before. I don't know why he would have. So he's probably having a bit of a I'm not comprehending what is occurring moment.
That is fair. That is a fair reaction. Luther, if you would like to describe, give us a little info about Luther, what he looks like, what he's all about, and how he's reacting to this happening.
I would say I was dressed for the occasion for sure. I think desert boots was a great description. I'd say I'd probably have on a collared shirt or something of the sort. as a scholar, and I'd want like a newsboy hat because I love newsboy hats. I would say that. Am I? So I know I was walking behind them. Have I officially seen it?
We're going to assume that everyone at this point was moving kind of together enough to have seen it, just as it crests over the candlelight.
So I don't know exactly if I would have studied anything of the sort. So I don't know exactly how freaked out I would be. But I know that just by seeing a dead body, I would say I was rather alert, especially from seeing something move earlier. I'd say I'm on high alert. I know I'm going to want to examine the clothes, see what year they're from, for sure.
That's fair. That is fair. Everett, our ex-soldier, give us a brief description. What you're wearing, what you're all about, and how you're reacting to seeing this spooky skeleton.
So I fought in the Great War, and I'm now a sort of, I'm not going to say mercenary, but security for hire. So I imagine I have some sort of body armor type thing with some cargo pants, some high desert boots, very, army formal kind of looking, but still safety wise. I've got my revolver on my hip, and what is my other? And then just bullets in my back pocket. Short military haircut. Little scar on the left side.
Very cool.
As far as reacting to the body, nothing I haven't seen before. I fought in the Great War. I saw a lot of death. It's just now. Am I allowed to ask, is this body fresh looking?
It's a skeleton.
It's a skeleton? Okay, so it doesn't put me on high alert, it just piques my interest, I'm not surprised, or I'm not...
I'd say from it being a skeleton, I also would not be on too high of alert.
Actually, yeah. I was thinking more of like
fresh
he had skin on, for sure.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen skeletons.
It doesn't strike any fear into me, it just makes me wonder what happened to it.
Yeah, that is
probably aggressively curious.
I think that describes Wallace pretty well.
Yeah.
And final. Oh, you have something else to add?
I was gonna say I'd be more cautiously curious than aggressively curious.
That's fair. That is fair.
I am immediately aggressively curious as well.
I'm aggressive. Also, I guess curious. And finally, George. How give us a description of George Cunningham, what he's all about, and what his reaction is to this clothed skeleton.
He wears a floppy hat that is tan. His shirt is white, and his t-shirt, and it's kind of raggedy. He has tan shorts, and ankle boots with tall socks. What was the second question?
Dead body. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I'm interested. Could be a lot of as an archaeologist. Who knows?
I'd say some of us are probably pretty freaked out considering we watched a fucking stone crush a guy.
I might even be able to date the skeleton.
He's not looking for anything right now.
Oh, what am I looking for?
No, it was the joke. It was a joke on you dating the skeleton romantically. And with that, as you all begin to enter this little side alcove, this annex, the first thing that stands out is the skeleton lying on the floor, with tatters of clothing, as well as a rucksack. as you move closer into the room, looking around, you would see that it is filled with religious artifacts, and then the walls are lined with cones made of clay. On the southern and the northern walls on either side, there are more murals. And on the eastern side, where the body is closest, there is a massive shrine with an inverted Ankh symbol, with potentially hundreds of tendrils reaching out of the symbol, made of pure gold, as you can tell. While you're looking at it in the dim candlelight, you can all tell that the tentacles are not moving, but nevertheless they are very unsettling to look at. They look as if they could move at any moment. And across the base of the shrine, there is a large mat, a large, perhaps Persian rug, and all around it are small clay figurines of human beings. And then on the center of that mat lies the skeleton. What do you do?
It's Gulliver.
That's right.
From
You solved the
Gulliver
case.
Travels.
The big door opens and you all go home and eat ice cream.
I want to date the skeleton.
I
Hey, you said it. You can't retcon it.
would like to make an occult check on the upside down Ankh. Because I think that's
absolutely.
weird.
Give me a roll.
Sure. No, that's an 83.
Would you could push the roll if you want. I'm gonna say you don't. It's not. I'm not gonna say you need to. But if you want to, the option is always there. If you can come up with some kind of way to push it.
I want to understand, but instead I'm gonna approach this from an entirely different method and say, Luther,
Yeah.
you've studied Egyptology. What do you know about that upside down Ankh?
I'm gonna take a look at my uncle upside down.
All right. If you wanted to give me a history or
That's kind of what I was hoping for.
yeah, history or
I
I
was trying to type it. There we go.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I ain't seeing shit.
Oh,
I don't
that is
know anything.
What's your history skill?
that's
It's less than a 50, right? You would be fine.
History is
if
not
it's-
on my skill.
Well, you
Oh,
don't
is your
have the
history
history
based?
skill, then you definitely just critically failed, right? Because isn't it like
Yeah.
5?
yeah. It's 3. But I believe I can double check the handbook real
One
quick,
sec.
but I'm pretty sure.
How are you? What?
I definitely think that's very strange.
How are you a professor of Egyptian hieroglyphics and have no history? I can tell you what they mean, but I can't tell you when they were made or why.
Or what they mean.
Yeah.
What? Okay, that's whack.
That is whack. I
Well,
You're
would. Okay, so
wrong.
what is your Egyptian hieroglyph skill?
70%.
All right, well we'll roll with we'll assume that is your history for all
So-
intents and
So
purposes.
it's just a fail.
Yeah. That is still very close.
That's a game
Um,
of inches right there.
Yes. Oof. Yeah, that is very close. But yeah, looking at the symbol, you recognize that there is. To say that there's something off about this symbol is putting it lightly. It makes you physically uneasy to look at. It makes you want to look away, and it makes you slightly nauseous. But aside from that, the symbol itself garners no insight into what it could potentially be.
I don't seem to recognize this one, and it's making me a bit uneasy. The air in this place is just getting thinner, and it's starting to bother me, I think.
Well, I can tell, old chap, you're hardly looking at it. You're looking all around. What
Now,
then? Go on, Everett.
Speaking of look around, I want to do a spot and hidden check for any. I'm like staring at the walls. I don't know. I feel like a secret room like this has a secret compartment.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
I gotta get below a 45, right?
If that is your spot hidden, then yes.
10, 0, 9. 19?
Yeah, that is 19. So yeah, that absolutely.
Man, the way you read that confused me for a moment.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what?
This
I
man
was
just
like,
rolled
sorry.
109?
Sorry.
I was like, yeah, that's a super fail right there.
As you're looking around, you notice that the walls seem to be covered in where there is not a mural. There are, behind these clay cones, there are honeycomb shapes, and when you look inside of these honeycomb shapes, you see long since burnt out sticks of incense. Aside from this, none of the honeycombs appear to have any kind of secret spooky lever.
Okay. No secret spooky levers, no secret walls from what I can tell. Any part of the room... no, that's a little much. I was gonna ask any cracks in the foundation, any reason I think we shouldn't be in the room. But I can't think of a feasible reason for that. Just be careful messing around in here, Mr. Wallace. It seems that it might have been sealed off for a reason.
Not bad.
George, what would you like to do?
Can I date the skeleton, please?
Can you date the skeleton? Absolutely. You may absolutely date the skeleton. Before I have you roll any rolls, I'll just describe that as you lean down to look at the skeleton to kind of get an idea of it, you notice that the skull is fractured in multiple places and the ribs appear to be crushed. It's you don't necessarily need to know a lot of medicine to understand that this is probably how he died.
Suicide.
Yes. As you get to
Tragically shot himself in the back of the head.
As you get to looking at him, you notice that the tatters of clothes he's wearing appear to be fairly modern. Rather than an archaeology check, I would want a first aid or a medicine check to determine potential date of death.
Okay.
It's all me, baby.
So call Everett over to help you.
Everett, help me!
You don't
with-
want Everett to help.
Well, no, hold on. We now get into Call of Cthulhu's version of the help action. It gives you a bonus die on your roll, so that means roll again, and we'll see if you get a better one.
Wow.
Okay, good. Because I rolled an 80.
83 and 79.
I got an 80 and a 95.
Oh, that's very close to a fumble. Oh, that is so
So
close.
we're rolling.
Oh, I
not
thought I
tonight.
rolled both dice. Or is I helping him?
You both failed.
I assumed that you were helping him because he has a higher skill.
Oh, okay.
Fudge that one, guys.
All right, well, you're not able to determine when exactly he died. Getting down and looking at the wounds, you do notice that the bones appear to be perhaps gnawed on by some creature. Small animal teeth marks appear to riddle several of the bones. But as far as dating the body, it doesn't appear to be that old, given that it's the tatters of clothes appear to be made of fairly modern material, and the rucksack that he was carrying when he perished also appears to be of fairly recent ilk.
Any dates on any of the clothing? Or bag?
Tags are a very modern thing.
Yeah, tags are very modern.
What about printed?
Pardon?
You know, like how clothing and items have prints in them. Something printed.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
And then I need something after that.
Spot hidden. Okay. I pass. 27 out of 50.
Oh, almost.
I would.
2 points off a hard success there. George.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you would like to spend 2 points of luck to get a hard success, there would be additional information with a hard success.
Additional information. I am 2 points less lucky.
All right, absolutely a hard success. Getting down, looking at some of these tatters of clothing, you do notice that there are some markings on them. They're written in. Seeing who George is playing as. There's some markings on these clothings. They appear to be written in German. What you can gather is that the coat he was wearing appears to have been a potential military issue made in Munich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I also recognize that?
Considering
I'm a military man?
I would say no. You're not necessarily trained on everything that the opponent has. Although, if George were willing to share that information, absolutely, you would know that.
Okay, before he does that, while he's focused on like his type of clothing, I, being the security, notice the bone gnawing. I want to look for any tracks around the body that are ours, possibly indicating where that animal might have been.
All right. Give me either a tracking or a spot hidden roll, if you have a tracking skill on your sheet.
My track is 30, my spot hidden is 45. Do I get to choose?
You get to choose, yes.
I don't have
Spot
history, but I have throw.
That's what me
So
having you roll
spot
was
hidden
is
roll.
a throw. Ah, Egyptian hieroglyphics. He'll have
Fuck!
history.
81.
Yeah. Looking around. I mean, if I wouldn't advise pushing this roll, but looking around, you don't see anything. The dust has been kicked up pretty severely just by you walking in here. Any tracks that could have been there are long gone at this point.
And there were no other indications of life.
Before I move on to Wallace, I will point out that the closest thing to an indication of life you've seen was back in the large antechamber, where several things were knocked over seemingly haphazardly. And now, Wallace, you spoke up.
Yeah, I have a point of order question. When we were back in the original hallway, we discovered the shavings on the hole leading to the large treasure room. Were those shavings arranged in a way to get in or to get out of that room? Like, did it look like someone had chiseled their way into the treasure room, or chiseled their way out of the treasure room?
I would say you don't really need a roll for that. You'd be able to pretty clearly determine it was to chisel in.
Okay. So with that in mind, I'm gonna kind of just gingerly tip his rucksack and look into it. I'm looking for a chiseling implement.
All
I'm
right.
gonna survey the contents of the bag, but
I mean, are you wishing to look specifically first before just dumping all the things out, or
yeah,
how are you going
I think
about?
I'm gonna open the rucksack and I'm gonna look first before I stick my hand in there. I stabbed myself with a knife one time doing that, so I'm not just gonna stick my hand blindly in some dead guy's bag. I'm gonna open it, look inside, and if I don't see anything obvious, then at that point I will probably pour it out on the floor.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Okay.
I'd like to note I'm watching Mr. Wallace do this.
That is a 67 for a 45. I think I'm actually gonna spend the luck points.
Rather than pushing the roll.
Yeah, because I'm nurturing a suspicion. It's not done yet. Like, I'm not convinced this is the guy, but I'm like halfway there. Actually, take risks. I would like to push the roll. Because I'm actually pretty sure this is our Tomb Raider right here.
All right. How do you go about pushing the roll?
So, like I said, if I didn't see anything obvious, I was gonna tip the bag out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the bag, end over, and then just put it like to the ground and like shake the contents out onto the ground and examine them that way. And then once the bag is empty, go, look inside the bag again. If nothing like obvious has fallen out of the bag.
All right. So go ahead and give me that push roll.
Oh my god. 43 for 45.
43.
Oh!
All right. So as you dump the bag out, you're looking. You do succeed in seeing what you were looking for. There appears to be a very well-worn, though quality-made, trowel amongst the things that fall out. With a past spot hidden, you also notice that coiled up within the contents of the bag and now poured out onto the ground is a snake, a viper of some sort.
Ooh. Presumably, it's currently moving, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not good. However, I have had some questions answered. Another question. I've just poured the bag out. The snake falls out. Mr. Keeper, was there any treasure in that bag?
There's absolutely treasure in that bag.
Well, there was treasure. It's on the floor now.
Oh, fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, that's noting that. Treasure in the bag. Got it. Okay.
That seals George's fate.
Everett. Guy who's been
Yes, sir,
staring
Mr.
at me the whole
Wallace.
There's a snake.
Okay.
Good
I
luck.
don't want to shoot the snake.
But you don't want to fire a gun like right next to my foot?
I push him back a few feet, and then I take a giant kick at that fucking thing.
You're gonna kick the snake.
I'm gonna kick the shit out the
Okay,
snake, Mr.
hold on.
Wallace.
It doesn't matter now because he's gonna kick it.
Yes.
But did the snake look pissed?
It looked very. It looked very confused that someone had just dumped it out on the floor.
Okay.
I
Well,
was assuming it was angered because he took it and just fucking rattled
Hey.
the shit out the bag.
hey, bud, you kicked it, so we're going there now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a viper.
I will go ahead and
Oh.
if everyone could give me their dexterity numbers.
Oh no.
Yep, 60.
I just ruined it for everyone.
You may
45,
insta
but I
die.
don't think I'm that close to him.
Okay, hold on. So we
65.
had 65 from Everett Stone. What was yours?
Mine's 45.
What do you roll?
60 for Wallace. Just your dex score, George.
No, what do you roll?
What is your dex score?
There's no roll.
No, there's no roll.
What is your
50.
dex
What is your
attribute
dexterity?
score, George?
50.
50. All right. There we go. That's how we determine what's it called in D&D?
Initiative.
Initiative. That's how we determine initiative in Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, we're fighting the
We're
snake.
about to fight a giant snake or some shit.
It's not a giant snake. It's just an angry snake.
I
now.
do have to refresh my memory on how big a viper is. Quick Google.
I imagine small enough to fit into a bag.
Yeah, like 3 foot or something like that, but they can strike twice that distance.
Oh, I need to go get my...
Look at this. Doesn't know anything
Full
about
set of
history.
die.
Ooh, he knows about snakes.
Haley, I fucked up. I kicked a snake.
Your girlfriend's gonna be so mad at you for kicking a snake.
All right. So as you you kick the snake off into a corner of the room. Go ahead and Colin, if you could give me a fighting brawl roll.
Hey, just for my own curiosity,
Yes.
what is the patterning on this snake?
I'm imagining it's some sort of adder.
Okay, that's what I figured.
What the fuck is a D3?
The one that goes up to 3.
Do I have
The
that?
triangle.
Triangle.
This one's got 4 on it though.
It's not a D3.
I have many different dice sets. So...
Well, if you don't have a physical D3, you can always roll it digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a physical D3. Interesting. Oh, that's lame.
D3 actually has 3 sides? Or is that 4
What is
sides?
a D3? I'm pretty sure it has 4 sides.
That's what I'm saying. I have 1 D3 plus D4.
D3 is a triangle, right?
No,
There's no
triangle's
D3. What the hell's a D3?
Yeah, what's a D3?
Well, Colin, what is it?
D3 plus D4.
Mine also says 1D3.
Huh.
What the fuck is that?
Hello?
That's strange. You should have a
Got it,
base
right.
fighting brawl skill just to hit.
I got a 3.
Damage 1d3 plus d4.
No, what's
Yeah,
the
so you're not-
the actual score?
The
35.
D3 is a
14.
rare die, but there is a D3.
Oh, okay. Curious.
Hmm.
I would.
Oh, I've seen this. This is super gross. Here, I'll share my screen real quick.
I only have D4s, I don't have a D3.
I was gonna say I would go ahead and I would assume if you wanted to you could just roll a D. Oh, that is gross.
Roll a D4 and a 4 is a 3 or whatever.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
exactly.
Okay. Exit
Anyway,
syndrome.
so you said what do you say the base number was for your fighting brawl?
Was it 35, Colin?
35. Yeah.
All right. So
35
go
for
go
you.
ahead. Yeah. So go ahead and roll a D100 to see if you successfully kick the snake.
Oh, I gotta get below a 35.
Sticks to
Okay,
snakes.
we're-
Sticks to snakes.
That one. Okay, boys, here we go. Hold on. Let me just exit out of this stone stream. Okay, below a 35. Come on, dice gods. That's not good. It's a 63.
Oof.
Can I? I don't wanna.
How badly do you want this 10 pounds a week?
Okay, I gotta push this.
Can you push it?
How
Am I justifying? Do I miss? Now this is like as if I miss it, or is this like a?
let's see. Let me see. Can you push?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you
a,
push in combat?
I'm going to look and see. Push
Lord, I
roll.
hope so.
I'm not seeing anything immediately that says you can't.
Okay.
We go to combat and see if there's something specific there. For the time being, I would say no. I would say no. You probably can't push a combat roll. But
Okay.
I will say it. Don't feel too bad because you were rolling against the snake's dodge, and he did roll a critical success. So you go to kick the snake. The snake slithers out of the way. And while you're kicking, the contents of the satchel are now scattered across the floor, and they knock over several of these small clay men that were standing around.
Raggy.
Next in initiative order is the snake. The now very angry snake. And so.
Okay, my dodge is 50, just so we know. 50%.
All right. Well, the snake is going to take his action, and in
shit out you. No.
in the dim candlelight, you look around. Your eyes dart left and right. You cannot find the snake.
You gotta be shitting me.
Wallace, you are next.